Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
Our special guest today is Casey Hunt. He is with Hunt Home Inspection. Thank you, Casey, for being here.
Glad to be on.
So, you are new in the home inspection business, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. I started in late December. Kind of wanted to have the ball rolling before January and start the new year off right.
All right. So, what do you feel like is the most important reason a buyer should get a home inspection?
Well, for one, I've done several inspections where there have been a lot of foundation issues that the client never even known anything about. You know, when you're looking to buy a home, you're probably looking at several different homes in a couple different areas, and you're looking at how those areas critique to your needs and your children's and family needs. So you've got a lot on you, and you tend to kind of overlook a lot of things, not just on the exterior, but, you know, there's things on the interior that you can't see that I have been trained to find.
Okay. All right. So, I know you do the home inspection. Are there any other ancillary services? Like, do you do radon testing, pest inspections, anything like that? Yeah.
Currently, I am getting into trying to broaden my scope of inspections and trying to make it a one-stop shop for, you know, the realtor and the client as well. And of course, you know, if we don't do a service that you need or require, we've got a list of people that we can reach out to that would be more than happy to help you.
Okay. So you kind of coordinate it
Yes,
and
ma'am.
help them out with that. Okay. What areas do you cover?
Pretty much anywhere in East Tennessee. Our main goal is the Morristown area. Of course, we will go all the way towards Gate City, Bristol area, and as far down as Knoxville, as long as it's in reasonable driving distance, probably within a 100-mile radius.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit about getting approved to do home inspections. Like, I know the licensing process for being a realtor, you know it for a loan officer, but like, how much training and what all do you have to go through to become a home inspector?
I went to AHIT. It is a 90-hour program, and there's no possible way that you can do it in 90 hours. You have to pass a practice test through them before they'll let you take their original test, and then you have to go through the state and take a essay test as well.
Okay. So it's not an on-the-job kind of thing?
No, you go through I went through a program with AHIT. They do a 2-day live course, and they do 4 home inspections with you. That way you get a scope of pretty much every scenario that you're going to get into. And, you know, they're really good about helping you any way they can. And you just go through the state, take your test. You have to send in so many mock inspections and go from there. Just kind of grow as you go.
Okay. Good deal. So somebody hires you to do the home inspection. You obviously are going out, checking electrical, plumbing, all that stuff, all the things. How quickly do you turn around that report back to the client?
Usually within that evening, unless, you know, it gets late in the day and, you know, we're not going to send you an inspection report 10, 11 o'clock at night. In that case, I usually get it to you the first thing the next morning. Most of the time, I have probably 75% of the report done when I leave the property.
Right.
And I do encourage the client to be at the property with me when I do it. That way it makes it simple for me and for them to understand everybody's on the same page. You know what's going on with the house. I can show you while you're there if there's any issues, and everything's kind of covered in that time.
Okay. Do you have any funny stories that have happened while you were doing a home inspection yet?
I do not. I've run into some humongous spiders, which I'm terrified of. So that was a little bit funny, but, you know.
What about snakes? Have you seen any snakes yet? It's probably too early in the year.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
a little
snake
cold yet.
skins.
Yeah, I have seen some snake skins, and that's kind of creepy, you know.
I know that when I first got started in real estate and I went to my first home inspection, because, you know, I wanted to learn how it was done, what it's all about, da 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 da. And the inspector went underneath. It was a mobile home that had been added on to, of all things. You know what I'm saying? We called it a trouse, part trailer, part house. And he went in the crawl space of that thing to do the inspection. And he wasn't down there very long. And here he come backing out very easy. And I'm like, what are you doing? And there was a possum eating a dead skunk underneath that mobile home. And he was like, I'll come back tomorrow, but I ain't getting in on all that right now. And I was like, yeah, I don't really think I need to know any more about home inspecting at this point.
Yeah, and I haven't run into anything like that. And I've heard a lot of stories of people that have, and I'm sure I'll get into it as, you know, as we enter fall and weather starts cooling down. That's most of the time when you encounter stuff like that.
And I know we always talk about, you know, buyers obviously need a home inspection, but it's probably a good thing for sellers if you're going to sell your house to get you to come out and show any potential issues.
That's a very important thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, is because, you know, not only when you're buying a house, if you're going to list a house, it kind of gives you an idea of what the deal breakers could be.
Right,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And let you fix them right off the rip. And just like if you was buying a used car, if I come to you to buy a used car from you and you've done had it checked out by a mechanic, I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable with buying your car.
Exactly.
You know, and that's one thing I always tell people, you know, is as I grow in this business, not only buyers need to do it, but listing your house for sale, it's a good idea to do as well.
Definitely.
And I have used Casey in that scenario. That is a service that I offer to my sellers, is to get a pre-listing home inspection done. So we got Casey to go out to a lake house that I have listed and do the home inspection. So that is a good idea. I find it very valuable because, you know, you're not going to have very many buyers who are going to waive a home inspection these days. But when you already have one done and they can see up front kind of what they're buying, it makes a difference in the negotiating of the deal. So,
sure.
All right, Casey, if somebody wants to get a hold of you to get a home inspection done, how they reach you?
You can call me at 423-315-7546. We have a Facebook page so that you could shoot out a message to us on Messenger. Email at caseyh447@gmail.com.
And what's your Facebook page?
My Facebook page is under Hunt Home Inspections.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we will link that for you down there in the comments. Anything else about your home inspection business you'd like to share with us?
I just strongly encourage getting the home inspection, not just on my behalf, but, you know, you don't want to spend it. You're making a big purchase in a lifetime, you know, buying a home. I would strongly encourage getting a home inspection.
I agree 110%. So, all right. Well, thank you, Casey,
thank
for
you,
coming
ladies.
out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kim and I are going to keep talking a little bit about mortgages and real estate and what's going on in the crazy world.
That's like, you know, not doing a home inspection back in the day and when it called buying a pig and a poke.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know what you get.
Well, that was kind of what they were doing in 2020 and 2021 was buying a pig and a poke.
Buying a pig and a poke. So.
Waiving those home inspections. But so what's going on in the mortgage world? I know rates dipped down and now it looks like they're edging back up.
They are. I mean, they're still in the sixes, you know, so we tell people, you know, even though we'd like to see back in the fives, you know, but still sixes are not bad. And you know, one thing I like to bring up too, you know, we also finance single wides through most all the loan programs. With house prices being so expensive, you know, if you can find a single wide, it does have to be on a permanent foundation, but we offer that. Another thing I want to point out, you know, don't get me wrong, everybody likes, hey, I want a zero down loan, you know, and we offer those. But, you know, sometimes with no investments, those requirements are tougher. So, you know, if you have access to an FHA, 3.5% down, 3.5% of the sales price is a down payment, you're potentially going to get pre-qualified for a lot more expensive of a home, more options there. So I always just say, you know, hey, if you think, hey, I've got money, but I don't want to use it. And again, that money can come from gift funds from a family member. If you have a 401k, Some people are going to do loans with 401k. Some do 401k withdrawals. So those are just other options. So always think about, hey, I don't want to pay a down payment, but if you can, it may open up some more, more homes for you to look at.
Gotcha. So let me ask for your opinion. And I don't know, you're like me, I don't really watch the news a ton.
No.
It's usually depressing. But have you heard about this new housing initiative that Biden talked about last week? Where he's offering this $5,000 payable $400 a month for the next 2 years, which is supposed to help buyers afford a mortgage. And I'm totally lost by that whole concept, because you all are not going to use that $400 a month only for 2 years to help them qualify.
Exactly.
So I don't really understand the premise of how this money is going to help.
No, I don't. Any income we use has to be likely to continue for 3 years. So in other words, if someone's getting Social Security on a 16-year-old child, we're not going to be able to use that for qualifying purposes. So that totally makes no sense to me at all. So obviously he's not in the mortgage business.
Well, and I just thought there's got to be a component that I am missing. There's got to be a piece of the puzzle that I've not seen, you know what I'm saying? But like I've went and reread the article a couple of times that, was talking about it, and I'm like, this really just makes no sense to me.
No.
Because to me, so let's say I qualify for a house, I buy a house, and then you're sending me $400 a month. So now I can pay my utility bills and my groceries.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. So what happens after that 2 years? Yeah. Because, I'm probably not making $400 more a month.
No.
Or if I am, I'm spending it on, my Starbucks and all that kind of stuff. So in my mind, I just see like foreclosures starting to go through the roof in 3 years if they do this, because, again, what is the purpose? Like, I get giving somebody a tax credit.
Sure.
Let them file on their taxes and get, part of that money back. We used to have the $8,000 first-time home buyer tax credit. But the whole concept of this is just, I don't get it. So if you have read it, seen it, whatever, and you understand it, and I'm missing something, please let me know. Leave a comment, send me a DM, something, because it's not clicking for me.
Me either.
So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy, which I am. But all right. So normally we always talk about Hamlin County. What's going on in Hamlin County? So I thought I would spice it up a little bit, and we're going to talk about Jefferson County. Okay. So looking at what happened in Jefferson County for February of 2024, they had 46 new listings that came on the market. They had 45 homes that went under contract. So that tells you it's a pretty balanced market there. If you got 46 homes that come on, 45 went under contract. You got 30 homes that sold in Jefferson County for last month. The average was almost $353,000 with an average of 42 days on the market. The median was 3046 with 17 days on the market. Now, if you're from East Tennessee, you're familiar with Jefferson County, you know that Douglas Lake is in Jefferson County. And Douglas Lake properties start at about $900,000 for a house most of the time. You might find something less than that, but realistically speaking, if you want a nice house on Douglas Lake, you're looking $900,000 to $1 million right off the bat. So I wanted to take out, there were 2 lakefront sales that happened, and one of them I think was in the 900 range. The other was like 1.7 million. So I took those 2 home sales out to kind of give us a better idea of what the normal person looking for a house is looking at. So when you take out the lakefront sales, the average home sales price was $3,013, and the median sales price was $3,021. So it helped a little bit. I mean, $50,000 difference in your average sales price. There were 23 price changes in February. The average price change was $26,400. Those homes had been on the market for 111 days. The median was $14,000 with 100 days on the market. So if we compare that to what happened in Jeff County in February of 2023, there were 32 homes that sold last year. Average sales price was $292,200 with 74 days on the market. Median sales price was $285 with 62 days on the market. So prices went up both ways. Time on the market has went down. So again, if you're looking to sell your home, we're still in the seller's market here in East Tennessee. Whether you're in Hamlin County, Jefferson County, Granger, Hawkins, pretty much any of our surrounding counties. Right now in Jefferson County, there are 82 homes that are active and available for sale. There's 67 homes under contract. So I didn't take out the new construction. D.R. Horton does have a couple of new communities they're building in Jefferson County. So I'm thinking if you take out new construction, you're probably in about the 60 range as far as homes that are available for resale there. So I don't do a ton of business in Jefferson County. But every once in a while, like I'm doing, you know, something will be in the Jeff County part of Talbot, or you're in Jefferson City, New Market area, Dandridge. And it is gorgeous over there. I mean, there's nothing like those mountain views from Jeff County.
I think the drive when you get off Interstate 40, driving into Dandridge, and that mountain view is really pretty.
Well, and I'll tell you, I had to go to Newport this morning for a listing appointment. And when you take 25 through White Pine and head over to, like, it just makes your mouth fall open looking at that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, we are so lucky.
Oh, yeah.
To live here. And on a clear day like today, it just, those mountains just stand out at you. But it is gorgeous for sure.
Definitely. I agree with you on that.
All right. So anything about mortgages that we need to know? You see any program changes coming or major rate change?
Not anything right now. Everything's still kind of steady. Staying steady. So, but it is still a great time, you know, to make a purchase. You know, 6% rates are not bad, and get the house bought. Quit paying rent. Start building the equity in the house and refi it later.
Now, I do have a question for you. Do you all do any adjustable rate mortgages, or do you only do the fixed rate mortgages?
We do. We have some 5, 7, and 10-year ARMs. Kind of after the housing meltdown back in 2007, 2008, you know, used to, if the going rate was 5%, you know, you might get a 2% ARM, you know. A lot of people went into those ARMs because they couldn't afford that fixed rate payment. So there's not that much variance in them anymore like there used to be. So if the going rate is, say, 6.5, I mean, it still might be 5.5 or 6 for an ARM.
Not a big difference, but enough. I mean, if you're paying $250,000 to $300,000 on a house, it's going to make a difference in that payment.
Plus, if you know, hey, you know, this is a short-term mortgage. You know, I'm buying in Tennessee, going to sell a house in Florida and pay this loan off in 2 years or whatever. You know, I mean, that would be options to look at the adjustable rates. So.
Well, and I always tell people, if you're a first-time buyer, an adjustable rate mortgage is probably not a product for you. But if you have bought and sold a couple of homes and, you know, you've got moved here for work and you know that in 10 years you're going to be retiring, it might be worth looking at an adjustable rate. And I'm like you. I mean, we've been in this for a long time, and we know the bad rap that adjustable rate mortgages got back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because of the credit scores of people that we were giving those loans to.
Subprime loans.
Yeah.
The 228s, I think is what we call them,
The 228s with the 3-year prepayment penalty. And that's why adjustable rate mortgages got a bad rap, because you sold it to people, hey, this will get you in the house. You've got 2 years to work on your credit and get it up. Who worked on their credit and brought it up?
I always say if you're 50 and you haven't worked on your credit, you're probably not going to do it at 52. So just being honest.
Well, yeah. And I mean, you know, everybody said, oh, well, we'll have 2 years worth of good house payments. If somebody hasn't made payments on time their whole life, their house payments probably weren't paid on time either. And so that's kind of where the adjustable rate mortgage got the bad rap, was because these people got put into these products. They were explained to them. Like, I don't want you to think people just were giving out these loans without explaining the consequence. But people didn't follow through on what they needed to do. And from where they were doing the 80-20, 100% financing, they didn't have the equity to refinance at the end of that 2 years if they had worked on their credit. So that led to the foreclosure crisis that we all remember so well.
Too well.
But it's different today. Like, mortgage practices have changed, lending practices have changed, and you're not giving out loans to people with 560 credit scores anymore. So, you know, again, if you're a repeat buyer, a 5, 7, or a 10-year ARM might be something to look at. And then if rates do come down, you can always refinance it.
And those adjustables are just through conventional, so they're not available for FHA or no down payment loans. It would only be conventional loans with at least 5 to 10% down.
Right. So a move up buyer, move down buyer, something
Exactly.
like that.
Yes.
So.
Exactly.
All right. If you have a local business that you would like to promote here on our weekly Facebook Live, please send a DM or leave a comment below. Or if you have a nonprofit or charity that you would like to promote, we would love to have you on here as well. So make sure you reach out, let us know so we can get you on our schedule. Again, I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.